every one of you. So today we're going to discuss the next topic for Gen Bio 2, which is all about central dogma. So these are our objectives for today. Number one is to identify and describe the key phases of transcription and translation. Central dogma is categorized into two phases known as transcription and translation. In this video, we're going to discuss in depth what happens on the different processes that are involved in a central dogma. Next one is to provide a comprehensive explanation of the various types of RNA and their respective function. So you have to realize that there are three types of RNA based on our lesson, and they differ in number one in structure, and mainly they also differ in function. And for the last one is to practice base pairing of DNA and RNA. So there will be an activity, and I believe this will be discussed on face-to-face lecture. So this is an overview for the transcription. Before we proceed with the video, I want you to look at this image. So the central dogma is a process wherein protein is synthesized or created with the help of our ribosome. So in this whole picture, we can easily have an overview on how does that happen. So transcription and translation differ, number one, based on location, and second, they also differ based on the one that they have produced or their byproduct, as we can say. So transcription is a process wherein DNA template strand is used to create an mRNA or messenger RNA. Again, the location of transcription happens inside the nucleus. After the transcription process and we have manufactured or created an mRNA, this mRNA will now ready to exit the nucleus via the nuclear pore, and it will now be deposited at the cytoplasm or maybe in the cytosol. Now, in the cytoplasm, we have an mRNA that is ready for translation. Translation is the process wherein mRNA is read, or the messenger RNA is read by the ribosome, and in the whole process, with the help of mRNA, tRNA, and rRNA, polypeptide chain are formed, and we can now produce a protein when it folds. So that is the whole process. In the video that I will be showcasing you later, this signifies, or this shows the transcription process. Okay, so the transcription process, which use DNA to create an mRNA.
Proteins are contained in our DNA. DNA contains genes. A gene is a continuous string of nucleotides containing a region that codes for an RNA molecule. This region begins with a promoter and ends in a terminator. Genes also contain regulatory sequences that can be found near the promoter or at a more distant location. Motor region of the gene functions as a recognition site for RNA polymerase to bind. This is where the majority of gene expression is controlled, by either permitting or blocking access to this site by the RNA polymerase. Binding causes the DNA double helix to unwind and open. Then during elongation, the RNA polymerase slides along the template DNA strand. As the complementary bases pair up, the RNA polymerase links nucleotides to the 3' of the growing RNA molecule. Once the RNA polymerase reaches the terminator portion of the gene, the messenger RNA transcript is complete, and the RNA polymerase, the DNA strand, and the messenger RNA transcript dissociate from each other. The strand of messenger RNA that is made during transcription includes regions called exons that code for a protein, and non-coding sections called introns. In order for the messenger RNA to be used in translation, the non-coding introns need to be removed, and modifications such as a 5' cap and a 3' poly A tail are added. This process is called intron splicing and is performed by a complex made up of proteins and RNA called a spliceosome. This complex removes the intron segments and joins the adjacent exons to produce a mature messenger RNA strand that can leave the nucleus through a nuclear pore and enter the cytoplasm to begin translation. How is the information in the mature messenger RNA strand translated into a protein? The nitrogenous bases are grouped into 3 letter codes called codons. The genetic code includes 64 codons. Most codons code for specific amino acids. There are 4 special codons, 1 that codes for start and 3 that code for stop. Translation.
Again, this is the overview of the process of transcription. Again, based on what we have mentioned earlier, transcription is the process wherein DNA is used, no, to create an mRNA or messenger RNA. Again, this mRNA or messenger RNA will be utilized again on the next process called as a translation, wherein protein will be synthesized or created. So before we proceed on the different things that are involved in transcription and translation, let us just unlock some terms. So RNA is not a new idea to all of you. So RNA is a bridge, as we call it, in between creating genes and also creating protein, or diba? So RNA are temporary molecule, while DNA is a stable and permanent molecule. So RNA are the one that we use when we create protein. So based on the thing that we have mentioned earlier, transcription is a process wherein we synthesize RNA using the DNA or information inside the nucleus, particularly in the DNA. On the other hand, translation is the process wherein we synthesize a polypeptide using information from the mRNA that we have manufactured in the transcription process. And again, one of the most important organelle that we have inside our cell, particularly is what we call the ribosome, which are the site for translation or the creation of protein. So you have to realize that gene expression, the process which DNA directs protein synthesis, include two stages that are known as transcription and translation. Again, let us go. Transcription happens in the nucleus, wherein mRNA or messenger RNA are manufactured or is manufactured, and translation is the process that happens in the cytoplasm, wherein mRNA or messenger is now read because it carries message from the template strand and it used to create protein. So these are the RNA that we will be talking or we will be mentioning for the entirety of the session or the video. We have the mRNA, also known as a messenger RNA. If you're going to look at its structure, it is just a single strand that carries different nucleotides because it carries the message in the creation of the protein. Again, it contains the message that has been transcribed from the DNA. Next one, you have the rRNA or ribosomal RNA. So its main component are known as the small subunit and the large subunit. So the blue one that we can locate it at the top part of the picture in the ribosome are known as the large ribosomal unit. While on the other hand, on the bottom part, the orange one, it signifies the small subunit. So when these two congregate, it can form and give rise to ribosome that will be used in the protein synthesis or creation of protein. Lastly, we have the transfer RNA or tRNA. No? It is very distinct in feature because as you can see, it has a letter T or parang cross na structure. Aside from that, it also carries an anticodon which is located at the bottom part. No? Meron itong anticodon for the codon that we have for the mRNA. One of the also distinct feature is it carries an amino acid. This amino acid, when they form a bond, no, in the process called dehydration synthesis, you can form a long polypeptide chain, and when it folds, it creates a protein. So you have to realize that when we identify an amino acid, we have to look for the mRNA. Read natin na, on the examination or in different assessment, you have to realize that the code for the amino acid came from the messenger RNA. So the 3-letter code for the codon are the one that signifies what type of amino acid will be used on the different sites in the ribosome. Okay, so we have to take note on that. For overview, this is the process of the central dogma. Again, the template strand is used to create an mRNA in a process called transcription. This happens inside the nucleus. When mRNA is done, no, and undergo modification, it will now exit the nucleus by nuclear pore, and it will be deposited at the cytoplasm wherein translation happens. Again, mRNA carries the message, and the message will now be read by the ribosome, and it will now create a long chain of polypeptide by forming or fusing different amino acid, and in the long run, it will fold and become a protein. Okay? So, this is the process of transcription wherein we will be having, we need to mention different types of proteins and we have to mention all different types of enzyme. Okay? So, the prime enzyme that we have to realize in bio is the polymerase. I think polymerase has been mentioned in our first discussion in DNA replication. It came from two words, di ba? Polymer, which is a long chain, and A. So polymerase is an enzyme that used to create a long chain of something. When you talk about DNA polymerase, malamang it creates a DNA or long chain of DNA, while RNA polymerase used to create a long chain of RNA. So it synthesizes or create an RNA. So you have to realize also that when we talk about RNA polymerase, no, we do not use thymine anymore. Since we are having creation of RNA, thymine is replaced with uracil. You might be wondering why we use uracil. Again, RNA are a less stable structure while DNA is stable structure. So with that being said, thymine needs to be replaced with uracil, which is said to be a less stable substitute in the long run. Okay? So, transcription and translation have three main components or steps. No, almost similar with DNA replication: initiation, elongation, and termination. So, initiation is the first part of the transcription. It refers to the binding of RNA polymerase and the initiation of uh, transcription factor. So, if we're going to look at the picture, no, just like what is mentioned on the video, there is a promoter site in the creation of mRNA. So the promoter site is the specific location wherein DNA template strand will be transcribed to create an mRNA. So there is this location in the promoter site known as Tata box. No, it is called Tata box because the nucleotide that is located there is specifically thymine and adenine, and the sequence goes like TAT, AAA, and ATA, TTT naman sa baba. So tinawag itong Tata box for distinction. Okay? So what happens in the initiation? The prime protein that we need is known as the transcription factor. Again, as you can see on the second part, the transcription factor will bind to the Tata box or the promoter site, and it will tell the RNA polymerase to begin in this specific locus or location. So when transcription factors, RNA polymerase, and promoter site bind, nagkaroon sila ng pagsasama-sama or they congregate on one location, we call it as transcription initiation complex. Again, transcription initiation complex is just a congregation of transcription factor, which is a protein, RNA polymerase, and the promoter site in the initiation phase. Again, if you have to remember one thing, in the initiation phase, nagkakaroon tayo ng transcription initiation complex wherein RNA polymerase with the help of transcription factor will bind to the promoter site. To be specific, in the Tata box. So that is the thing that happens in the initiation. On the next phase, we also have elongation. In the elongation, as RNA polymerases move along the DNA, it untwists the double helix and add 10 to 20 bases at a time. So RNA polymerases function and do two things. Two things. Number one, when it binds to the promoter site, it unzip or untwist the double helix. That is the primary function. Second is to add nucleotide based in synthesizing RNA. Let us go back. In the initiation phase, there is this transcription initiation complex, which are made up of promoter site, RNA polymerase, and also the transcription factor. In the elongation, the prime enzyme that we have to made mention of is the RNA polymerase, which number one, untwist and unzip the DNA, and second is to add nucleotide to the 3' end of the grooving RNA. Let us go back to what we have mentioned earlier. As you can see in our example, the orange one is the newly synthesized RNA. And if you're going to look in our example, there are no T or thymine that can be located on the orange one because these are RNA already. Again, we use uracil when we manufacture or create an RNA. So that is the elongation phase. Next, there will come a time that we will reach the last part known as the termination site. No? The RNA polymerase will transcribe the polyadenylation signal sequence. The RNA transcript is released in this process. So again, in the video, we have saw earlier that when it reached the termination part, what will happen? With the help of the polyadenylation signal, 6-letter AAUAA, this signals the protein to cut the transcript creation or RNA transcript creation or elongation. So what will happen? The transcription factor, the RNA polymerase will be detached on the termination part, and also the RNA transcript will also be detached on the complex that we have formed in the initiation phase. So at the end of the process of transcription, we have created or manufactured a complete RNA transcript. If you are wondering where does RNA will ano gagawin ng RNA polymerase after this one? It will go to the next template strand that needs to create an mRNA. So, ganun lang siya yung pangyayari, no? Or pupunta naman siya sa site na kung saan ulit kailangan gumawa ng mRNA. So, that is the whole process of the transcription process in the central dogma. Let us recall, in the initiation, we form transcription initiation complex, which are made up of the RNA polymerase, transcription factor, and also the promoter site. In the elongation, we have the RNA polymerase at number 1, untwist the DNA or unzip the DNA, and second, give nucleotide pair on the DNA template strand. It is important to know that we do not use thymine in creation of RNA. Instead, we have uracil. And for the termination part, when we reach the last part, no, we have a polyadenylation signal, AAUAA, that we use, no, for the RNA polymerase, mRNA transcript, and termination part used to be detached on each other. So at the last part, we have created an mRNA transcript. So as you can see in here, we have the DNA template strand, and we have a new DNA strand. So picture A showcase how does DNA replication happens, which was discussed last time before we proceed with central dogma. On the other hand, it is important to note also that the RNA transcript that we have manufactured must be coming from the DNA template strand that we have. So don't get confused. Maybe you are wondering what part of the DNA you're going to give complementary base on the RNA. It is important to note that we always use the DNA template strand, okay? So there are two types of strand, the template strand and non-template strand. So we always use the template strand in giving complementary base in creation of mRNA so that you will not be confused on the lesson or on the different assessment. So I think this has been done on a face-to-face session. So now, after manufacturing an RNA transcript, it needs to undergo post-transcriptional modification. Okay? So enzyme in the eukaryotic nucleus modify pre-mRNA or processing of RNA before the genetic message are dispatched to the cytoplasm. So for the first step, we need to alter the mRNA ends by adding a cap to the 5' end. And also, we used to add a poly-A tail at the 3' end of the mRNA that we have manufactured. So you might be wondering why we need to add a cap or we need to add a 5' end and also tail at the 3' end because when it exits the nucleus and deposited at the cytoplasm, the environment of the cytoplasm is favorable sometimes. No, there are molecules that are free flowing in the cytoplasm, and there are tendencies that might be attached to the mRNA. So what will be the catch? No, for it to become more stable and for it to become protected, no, when it is in the cytoplasm, and when the right time comes, the ribosome is now attached to the mRNA, it is ready for the next step known as translation. Going back, the post-transcriptional modification has two parts. Number one is the alternation of the mRNA end by adding a cap at the 5' and also poly-A tail at the 3' end. So the next step is known as the splicing of the genes or RNA. You have to take note that the RNA transcript that we have manufactured is composed of two main things, namely the intron and exon. In the picture, the intron or the lighter orange and the exon, which is the darker orange, is located or showcased. So in the process called intron splicing, we need to remove intron on the mRNA that we have manufactured because again, intron will not be used in the translation. And the exon or the dark orange are the one that we use for coding of protein. So again, this intron splicing is aided with the enzyme called spliceosome. Again, spliceosome used to cut the intron that we have manufactured in the RNA transcript. So you may be wondering, sir, where does the intron goes after the splicing? Some nucleotide bases will be again used by the RNA polymerase in creating the next RNA transcript. So, nare-recycle naman siya. And again, the exon is the final one that we use for DNA, in creation of protein. You're also wondering, why do we need to encode or transcribe rather intron when we do not use it in the creation of protein? This might be linked by through evolution, no? And also genetic diversity. For us to have a more diverse template strand, we have lots of letter also, no? And also via evolution, there are letters that might be not necessary anymore in the creation of protein, no? So ayun yung mga possible reason why we need to edit and do post-transcriptional modification. Okay? So now we are done with the transcription and we will now enter the next phase of the central dogma known as translation. So I want you to watch this
DNA
video.
then moves out of the nucleus into the cytoplasm. Protein factories in the cytoplasm, called ribosomes, bind to the messenger RNA. The ribosome reads the code in the messenger RNA to produce a chain made up of amino acids. There are 20 different types of amino acid. Transfer RNA molecules carry the amino acids to the ribosome. The messenger RNA is read 3 bases at a time. As each triplet is read, a transfer RNA delivers the corresponding amino acid. This is added to a growing chain of amino acids. Once the last amino acid has been added, the chain folds into a complex 3D shape to form the protein.
Okay, so this is the process known as translation. In the video, we have the mRNA transcript that we have manufactured in the transcription is now used for the translation. It exits the nucleus and we will be using the rRNA, the tRNA, and the mRNA that we have to create a protein. Okay? So in a translation, again, it converts the genetic information that we have manufactured in the nucleus known as the mRNA. So the order of the codons in the mRNA determines the amino acid in the polypeptide chain. Inulit natin don't get confused. How are we going to identify what type of amino acid next natin? We use the mRNA. So we have to look at the mRNA, not the tRNA. Okay? We need to look at the codon, not the anticodon, or the 3-letter code known as the codon. So again, translation happens in the cytoplasm. So just like what I mentioned, there is this 3-letter nucleotide known as codons. So the flow of information from gene to protein is based on triplet code, a series of non-overlapping 3 nucleotide words. So the word of the gene are transcribed into complementary non-overlapping 3 nucleotide words of mRNA. So these words are then translated into a chain of amino acid, forming a polypeptide 3 nucleotide words of mRNA. Okay? So just like what we have mentioned in the transcription, translation also is divided into 3 steps, namely the initiation, elongation, and termination. So now let us focus on the initiation part of the translation. So in the initiation, we have this complex called translation initiation complex. So what is this translation initiation complex? So when an mRNA, as you can see in the picture, the orange one, binds to the rRNA or the small ribosomal unit at the bottom part, and also the initiation tRNA, pag nagdikit-dikit na yung initiation tRNA, mRNA, and small ribosomal subunit, this is what we call the translation initiation complex. And again, it happens in the initiation. So the P site is the binding site of the first tRNA carrying the anticodon to the start codon. So lagi natin tandaan, the first the first amino acid that we have is always methionine or MET, no? And the codon that we used to have for the methionine is AUG, no? So yung mRNA natin dapat simula AUG yan. So again, there will come a time that the translation initiation complex will form with the help of the large ribosomal subunit. Pag tatakpan na yung site natin, magdidikit ng large subunit which is located at the top at saka small subunit. In the process, it sandwich the mRNA transcript inside. And also, the tRNA or the initiation tRNA is located also at the P site or the processing site. The next phase will commence, known as the elongation. You have to realize that RNA, there are 3 different sites that are involved, namely the A, the P, and the E. So the A is also known as the accepting or the recognition site. The P is the processing or peptide bond formation site. And letter E is the translocation or the exit site. So let us see how does that unfold. So for the first one, the P site accepts the tRNA or the initiation tRNA. But you have to realize that the first one or the next amino acid will be located at the A site or the accepting site. Okay? So how does one amino acid is connected with another amino acid? It will undergo a process called dehydration synthesis. Tama ba? So the P site used to process and form bond of the peptide bond within the amino acid. So that is why we call it letter P. So peptide bonds are formed at the P site. On the next part, in that site, it is known as the translocation site, wherein it use the tRNA do not longer carry an amino acid because dumikit na siya dun sa P site, and it will now be translocated outside of the ribosome. So we call it the E site. So the process continues until there will come a time that we reach the last part of the mRNA transcript that we have. Okay? So ulitin natin na there are 3 sites that are involved in the ribosome, namely the accepting or recognition site, wherein dito unang pupunta yung tRNA na may carry na amino acid. The P site or processing or peptide bond formation site is the site wherein one amino acid will be attached to another amino acid. So, Gen Bio 1, we have discussed that amino acid are made up of the central carbon, the R group, the carboxyl group, at saka yung amine group. So, nagdidikit yung amine at saka carboxylic acid or carboxyl group, nagkakaroon ng bond doon. And last one, we have the exit or translocation site wherein the tRNA that we have do not longer carry an amino acid, and it will now exit the ribosome. You might be wondering, ano pong nangyari sa tRNA when it no longer carry an amino acid? So, it will be replenished again. So, when we have diet, no? When we eat protein, malamang magkakaroon na doon ng amino acid that will be replenished. And the cycle continues. tRNA again will go kung saan siya kailangan, no, na site. So, ganun lang naman yung elongation. Just like what I have mentioned, it is important to note that the mRNA are the one that we use in identifying what type of amino acid ang ating kailangan. So, again, the codon, AUG, is equivalent to methionine or MET. Next one, UGG, the 3-letter codon that we have, ang kanyang amino acid na equivalency ay tryptophan or TRP. UUC naman ang ating code, and then tRNA carries an anticodon known as AAG, and the amino acid it carries is phenylalanine. Okay, so ganyan po yung ating kailangan intindihin. For the last part, we have the termination, no, in the translation, reaching one of the three UGA, UAA, and UAG, and dissociation of the translocation initiation complex. I have this acronym that I use for me to be able to determine the 4 important codon in the transcription and translation process. So ang lagi ko sasabi, it starts with August, AUG, and ends with UGA, UAA, and UAG. Ulitin ko the acronym that I use is, it starts with August and ends with UGA, UAA, and UAG. So pag nalaman natin yung end at saka termination, alam na natin agad yan, matik sa central dogma. Okay? So just like what we have mentioned in termination, there will come a time that when we encounter UGA, UAA, the ribosome will reach the stop codon on the mRNA, and it will release a factor promotes hydrolysis. So when hydrolysis happens, ano mangyari? It cuts the bond on specific monomer, or sorry, on specific polymer, and magkakaroon ng dissociation. And at the end, ribosomal subunit and other components will dissociate. So large subunit will be dissociated, small subunit will be dissociated, the mRNA transcript will be dissociated, and also magkakaroon na tayo ng free polypeptide chain that we have. So again, this video showcases the summary of the translation process.
4, and enter the cytoplasm to begin translation. How is the information in the mature messenger RNA strand translated into a protein? The nitrogenous bases are grouped into 3 letter codes called codons. The genetic code includes 64 codons. Most codons code for specific amino acids. There are 4 special codons, 1 that codes for start, 3 that code for stop. Translation begins with the messenger RNA strand binding to the small ribosomal subunit upstream of the start codon. Each amino acid is brought to the ribosome by a specific transfer RNA molecule. The type of amino acid is determined by the anticodon sequence of the transfer RNA. Complementary base pairing occurs between the codon of the messenger RNA and the anticodon of the transfer RNA. After the initiator transfer RNA molecule binds to the start codon, the large ribosomal subunit binds to form the translation complex, and initiation is complete. In the large ribosomal subunit, there are 3 distinct regions called the E, P, and A sites. During elongation, individual amino acids are brought to the messenger RNA strand by a transfer RNA molecule through complementary base pairing of the codons and anticodons. Each anticodon of a transfer RNA molecule corresponds to a particular amino acid. A charged transfer RNA molecule binds to the A site, and a peptide bond forms between its amino acid and the one attached to the transfer RNA molecule at the P site. The complex slides down 1 codon to the right, where the now uncharged transfer RNA molecule exits from the E site, and the A site is open to accept the next transfer RNA molecule. Elongation will continue until a stop codon is reached. A release factor binds to the A site at a stop codon, and the polypeptide is released from the transfer RNA in the P site. The entire complex dissociates and can reassemble to begin the process again at initiation. The purpose of translation is to produce polypeptides quickly and accurately. After dissociation, the polypeptide may need to be modified before it is ready to function. Modifications take place in different organelles for different proteins. In order for a digestive enzyme to be secreted into the stomach or intestines, the polypeptide, or
Again, so at the end of the whole translation process, we were able to manufacture a polypeptide chain. So, balikan lang natin yung GenBio na we were able to discuss the different structure of protein known as the primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure. The primary structure of the protein is the sequence of the amino acid. And again, the primary structure is determined by inherited genetic information. So when it folds, no, it gives rise to secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. And again, the production of protein is dependent on the necessity of the species. No? It will produce different type of sequences of amino acid based on structural and kung ano pang kailangan niya sa kanya. Okay? So protein folding and post translational modification happens during the synthesis, no, of polypeptide. A polypeptide chain begin to coil and fold spontaneously into specific shape or directional molecule known as the tertiary up until quaternary, no, depende. So there might be a hydrogen bond that might be formed, no, on the end of the domain 1 and domain 2. Pwede rin magkaroon ng attachment, no? Iba-iba, pwedeng disulfide bond, pwedeng London dispersion bond, no? Depende sa gagawin na structure sa isang organism. A gene determines primary structure and primary structure in turn determine the shape. So this has been discussed also in GenBio 1. Post-transcriptional modifications may be required before the protein can be begin doing its particular job in the cell. So again, addition of different molecules also needs to be done, no? Aside from modification of protein para magamit pa siya sa loob ng cell, kailangan natin ng iba't ibang organelle, no? Golgi apparatus might add carbohydrates, no? That can be called as glycoprotein, no? Maraming pwedeng ilagay, no? Pwede naman maglagay ng lipids, no? Yung protein at saka lipids, no? So, ganun yung pwedeng mangyari sa ating protein. Again, in summary, ito na po yung buong process ng central dogma. Again, transcription and translation are the two major steps. Transcription is a process wherein RNA is used, or rather synthesized with the help of the DNA template strand. In the eukaryotes, the RNA transcript needs to be edited first, no, by adding a poly A tail at the 3' end, and also we add a cap at the 5' end. Introns, which are non-coding RNA transcript, are removed by the help of the spliceosome. And at the end of the day, we have the mRNA that is ready to exit the nucleus via nuclear pore. Now, the translation happens. mRNA is used, no, and it fused with the ribosome, the small subunit at the bottom and the large subunit at the top. There are 3 sites in the ribosome known as A, P, and E. A is for accepting, P is for processing, and E is for exiting. Again, the codon are the one that we use in identifying what type of specific amino acid ang ating kailangan. Okay? So don't get confused. tRNA carries an amino acid, and when we start to translate the transcript that we have for the mRNA, the amino acid that we have is form bond in the processing site, and in the long run, we have manufactured a protein or polypeptide chain. So that would be all, no? Again, we use this chart, no, codon chart, to be able to identify specific type of protein. Specific type of amino acid on specific codon that we have. So I think that would be all for this discussion, and I hope you were able to understand the whole process of the central dogma. That would be all, and good luck on your examination and assessment.